The Zohar in this week's Parsha records an argument on a pasuk in Tehillim. The Rebbe explains the argument, then explains how there in reality is no argument, and then explains what this means to us. The pasuk in Tehillim says, "Zois menuchasi adei ad poyeshev ki vi-Sichah." This is my resting place forever. I will dwell because I have desired it. And the Zohar brings three opinions as to exactly who said this pasuk and referring to what. In other words, who is the rester and where is the resting place. The first opinion is that the Aron said this pasuk. When the Aron was brought onto the Even HaShasiyah, when the Yidden brought the Aron finally onto the Even HaShasiyah, the Aron said this pasuk, that the Aron is the rester and the resting place is the Even HaShasiyah. Rabbi Yesa argues on this first opinion and holds that actually the Yidden said it. When the Yidden completed the Beis HaMikdash, which was signified by bringing the Aron into its rightful place, the Yidden said this pasuk when they completed the Beis HaMikdash. And the third opinion is that the Eibishter says it when the Yidden do what the Eibishter wants. They act according to the Eibishter's will. They do Torah mitzvahs. The Eibishter, being the rester, says that I rest amongst the Yidden. Now the Rebbe explains that we can say that this argument in the Zohar is based on a different argument. In general, we know that there is a discussion as to what is the exact purpose for building a mikdash, for building a sanctuary for Hashem. And in general, there's three opinions. The first opinion is that the opinion of the Ramban, that the mikdash is a place where the Aron has a set dwelling place. The point of building a mikdash is that the Aron, which signifies the Eibishter's Shechina, should have a place to dwell, a physical place to dwell. The second opinion, which is the opinion of the Rambam, is that the purpose of a mikdash is that the Yidden should have a place to offer korbanos, do the avodah, and celebrate in Yomim Tovim. That's the second opinion. And the third opinion is that based on the pasuk says, "Va'asuli mikdash v'shachandi b'seicham," make for me a mikdash and I will dwell amongst them. Eibishter refers to the mikdash as them, referring also not just to the physical mikdash, but also to the them, referring to the Yidden, that the purpose of a mikdash, of a sanctuary for Hashem, is that it's a place where the Eibishter will dwell amongst the Yidden. So we can say that these three opinions as to who exactly said the pasuk correspond to these three reasons. The first opinion that says that the Aron said the pasuk is because that opinion holds that the purpose of a mikdash is for the Aron to have a dwelling place. Therefore the Aron, which is the focal point of the mikdash, it said the pasuk. Rabbi Yesa, the second opinion, holds that the purpose of the mikdash is for there to be a place where the Yidden could offer korbanos, serve Hashem there. Therefore, according to Rabbi Yesa, who said the pasuk? The Yidden, when they completed the Beis HaMikdash, now they have a place where they could serve Hashem, offer korbanos, they said the pasuk. The third opinion holds that no, the Eibishter said the pasuk because the point of the mikdash is for the Eibishter to have a dwelling place where he can dwell amongst the Yidden. Now the Rebbe explains that rarely, because this is an argument recorded in Zohar, which is Pnimius HaTorah, so there can be no arguments. We know Eilu Veilu Divrei Elokim Chaim, everything is the words of Hashem. That's in general, even in Nigel, even in the revealed parts of Hashem, every single opinion is true, is Alikus. But even more than that, it's expressed in Pnimius HaTorah, in the inner part of Torah, where every single idea is true. Therefore, we must say that all these three opinions are definitely true, and all these three reasons as to what is the purpose of the mikdash, all of them are true. Additionally, the Rebbe says we could even explain how there's a time period in which each of these three ideas of a mikdash were expressed prominently. How do we see this? Because we know that there's three general stages of a mikdash. There was the Mishkan, when the Jewish people were in the desert. Then there was the two Batei Mikdash in Yerushalayim, which were ultimately destroyed. And then there's a third Beis HaMikdash, which was eternal, which will be when Mashiach comes. So these are three general stages of a Mikdash. Now, we can say that these three stages correspond to these three reasons. The first stage, which is the first period of the Mikdash, is the Mishkan. The Mishkan corresponds to the reason that the purpose of a Mikdash is for the Aron. Why? Because it was only in the Mishkan in the desert, that the Aron was always in its rightful place. As opposed to in the Beis HaMikdash, first of all, the second Beis HaMikdash, there was no Aron at all. And even the first Beis HaMikdash, towards the end of the period of the first Beis HaMikdash, King Yoshiyahu hid it. When was the Aron in its rightful place? The entire time, that was only in the Mishkan. Therefore, the Mishkan corresponds to the reason that the Aron is the purpose of the Mishkan. The second period, the second period of the Beis HaMikdash, that corresponds to the reason that we said before, that the purpose of the Mishkan is for the Yidden to have a place to serve Hashem. Why? Because it was specifically in the Beis HaMikdash where it became designated and established that this is the place where Yidden serve Hashem, this is the place where Yidden do the Avodah. as opposed to before, when there was just a Mishkan, no Beis HaMikdash, you could bring a korban wherever you want. You didn't have to necessarily bring it in the Mishkan. It was only after the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed that it became that you have to bring a korban in the Beis HaMikdash. And the third time period, the period when Mashiach comes, the third Beis HaMikdash, that corresponds to the third reason that the purpose of the Mishkan is for Hashem, the Mikdash is for Hashem to dwell amongst the Yidden, because that is the entire reality of Mashiach, when it will be a time expressed, revealed, how Hashem dwells amongst the Yidden, and the Yidden are doing the Eibish's will, fulfilling Torah mitzvahs perfectly. And the Rebbe explains also that this connects to our Avodah, that these three periods and these three reasons correspond to a person's Avodah. First comes the Oren. The Oren in it was the two Luchos. The Luchos correspond to Torah. First comes the person has to learn Torah. That's the first avodah that a person has to do. Then comes mitzvah. Then comes the second reason as to what the Beis HaMikdash is for. To have a place to serve Hashem, bring korbanos, do avodah. That's how they bring it down, taking it from the world of learning and bringing it down into the world of action, of doing mitzvahs. And then finally comes a state where the Eibusha dwells amongst the Yidden, where the Yidden become one with Hashem, and that is expressed when Mashiach comes. Have a good Shabbos.